Guys, this has been a long time coming, I feel. Welcome in to the first ever episode of the Chris and Kadie Show. I am Boston Chris. That over there, which way? That way. That is Miss Katie Lynn. And we're going to talk about dang near everything under the sun. And, of course, even a blocked sun is probably the first thing we're going to talk about today. But before we get into this week's topics, I wanted to make sure that we both introduced ourselves to our audience. We both have separate audiences, and we're also going to be both trying to grow an audience for the show. So introducing ourselves is going to be pretty important. So I'll let Katie start. Katie, tell us a little bit about yourself. Say within 1 minute, who are you?
Within 1 minute. Okay. I'm Katie Lynn Robertson. I am 20 years old. I'm from Kemp, Texas. Not in Kemp, Texas anymore, more towards the Dallas area. I am a singer, songwriter, guitar player, all that good stuff. I have a lot of music out, so if you want to listen to my music, you can go listen to my music. But
And we'll definitely put
what I got.
we'll put her website in the description below so you guys can follow along. And I am Boston Chris, and I am not 20 years old. I used to be that back in a different century, but no, I am a 47-year-old happily married father of 6 and grandfather of 3, and I know I have purple hair. Y'all will get over that. It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, that's who I am. I am originally from Massachusetts, hence the nickname Boston Chris. Now living in the great state of Texas. I say that with a wink. And we're going to be talking about a whole lot of cool things. We got Katie Lynn. We got Boston Chris. It's the Chris and Kadie Show coming at you. Let's get into the first topic. All right. So we've had a few things happen recently that have been pretty big topics, but I think the Eclipse is something we have to talk about first, right?
Absolutely. So I think it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure like Ennis, Texas was like a big hot spot. Like there was a bunch of people and like the news were out there in Ennis. That's like 20 minutes from me. So I just was out in the backyard and just watching it. It was so cool.
So we're both in the path of totality, right? That's something.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that is a term that I just recently learned what the path of totality means.
It sounds like a metal band or a metal.
It sure does. Opening for Metallica, y'all. Give it up for the path of totality.
I'd be about that.
Yeah, they're fabulous. I hear they're from the state of confusion. But of course, anytime we have eclipses on the news, they breed a whole lot of conspiracy theories that go along with them. So I thought we would talk about some of these conspiracy theories that I thought were pretty funny. Now, I'm going to go a little bit out of order. Now, you have to remember, we had the whole Kate Middleton thing happen recently where the Princess of Wales just disappeared, right? And nobody knows where she is and if she even exists anymore. And this was a big conspiracy thing in the UK. And then follow that up with the Baltimore Bridge collapse. And that's a whole nother train of conspiracy theories there, right? And then right after that, we end up with the eclipse. So, all these people who believe what they believe are having a really good time of it lately. They have lots of ammunition.
There's a lot going on. It is the end of the world. So, I am not going to mention right now and the people that think that right now. But I do get it. Like, think about, like, in ancient times. Like, I went and looked a little bit at it. And the people used to think like the gods were angry with them or like they were upset with them and that they thought the world was ending. So back then, I get that, but like now it's a bit much.
Yeah, I don't get it, to be fair. And I'm just going to, the one that really got me is apparently there was also a total eclipse in 2017, 7 years ago. And apparently that was a completely different path of totality. But according to what I've read, I went down that wormhole, Katie. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy to be back, but apparently this path of totality and that path of totality crossed somewhere in the United States, and the people who live in the town where the two of them crossed apparently think they're the elite chosen ones now.
Where am I going? Where's it at? Let's go.
I don't know where it is. I don't think I didn't think to look up the name of the town, but this is a real thing. Y'all can look this up if you want to go into that wormhole. It exists. It's there. There are the doggies.
He just opened the door.
Well, yeah, he hears Mama. He's like,
He's not.
He's like, I am indeed the chosen one. These people in this town
he
are
said, "Where
not."
are we going?
Right. So that's the first one that I saw, which I thought was interesting. Of course, you have the end of the world people that you mentioned, and I think with those folks, like, they're just gonna say everything's the end of the world, and eventually they have to be right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And things are getting worse and worse, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Then you have the purge folks, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping they would be right because I need some new shoes. You know?
I need a lot of new things if we're going that route.
Well, I mean, that's why I was hoping the purge would happen, you know? Because I'm just like, yo, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. And they'd be like, I don't know about you, Katie, but I am a shoe aficionado.
Man, I wish I could be. I got so focused on clothes that I completely forgot about shoes, and that's still the case. And then I look at my shoes, and I've had them for years, and it's really depressing. None of them are new. The newest pair of shoes I have are probably 2 years old.
Well, so you have all this cool clothes, and then, like, you know,
Nothing to match. Yeah.
and then all your shoes have like miles and miles and miles on them to where the warranty for the engine has run out, you know.
My Doc Martens are my savior.
Yeah. So the other thing they were saying is that there was going to be severe storms along the path of totality.
Well, I didn't get none of that.
No, me either. I just sat outside and, you know, I watched my family enjoy the eclipse while I was enjoying watching my family watching the eclipse.
So, okay, there was like so many different answers, but I found this on the WFFA, and I mean, is it really worth the hype? Like, everyone's losing it about it, whether like it's conspiracy theories or like, oh my God, but like you said, 2017. But I don't know if this is true or not, because there was many different things I found that all said the next one is this, and it was all different years. But apparently, the next totality one in Texas is 2317.
I don't think we're going to see that one.
No. So maybe it is kind of extra cool if it's never going to happen again in our lifetime.
Well, it's not going to happen again here, right? Like,
yeah.
So it's like, it's a very geographically limited thing. So, like,
yeah.
I mean, for me, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I think I have to throw them under the bus because I live close to there. But I live close to a town called Mineola. And Mineola has a really cool place called the Mineola Nature Preserve. I don't know if you've been there, Katie, but it's a gorgeous spot. It's just really, it's trails and paths and lakes and trees and open fields. It's just beautiful out there. And it would have been a perfect spot to watch a total eclipse happen. And originally they had this huge to-do about it, and they were going to have this like big festival out there and stuff. And then the Mineola City Council voted against doing anything because of safety concerns. When in all reality, anybody who lives in the town of Mineola knows that it was because they don't want people from outside the town of Mineola in the town of Mineola.
Yeah, like I said, Ennis, oh my God, they showed downtown on the news, and it was like, it looked like we were in Dallas, and it was just a little town of Ennis. I get that, but that still kind of sucks.
But that's economy, right? Like, that's economy that you should not be turning down when you're a small town. Just my opinion.
Absolutely.
So, Masonic rituals were planned around this
Okay.
total eclipse. Okay, so apparently, Freemasonry has come back in the 21st century. And I'll tell you the truth, when I went down this wormhole, all I could see was a bunch of bricklayers just feverishly building walls everywhere, right? Like, and then, like, the lights go out from the moon going in front of the sun, and then we come back from the dark, and there's just masonry everywhere. I don't know. I was just like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna sacrifice livestock during this, or like, what's happening?
They might start sacrificing people.
I don't know. I didn't hear any stories after the eclipse. Just everything was before, right? I
Okay,
didn't
deal.
hear any
Okay.
crazy
Maybe
things.
maybe it's simmered down.
I hope so. And the
They're
last
gearing
one,
up for 2317.
yeah, get it ready. Get it ready. Of course, we probably won't have the same technology then. Maybe we'll be back to when, we were the people back in the day that were just mad at the gods. Can you imagine what that would have been like? Just like living your
Dude,
life
being
in
terrified.
5,000 BC and then the lights just go out? Like, what is this? Of course you're going to be mad at the gods.
And I knew what was going on. And I feel like I was waking up out of a fever dream. I had no idea.
I did not think of the whole, let's, like, 5,000 BC folks, like how they would have handled an eclipse. That's
Yeah,
kind
they
of,
thought the gods were angry or upset with them for whatever reason, but
for that,
yeah.
like, 3 minutes of darkness, like, that had to be
Freaky.
like, oh my gosh. And then you come back. And then you come back from into the light, and like everybody wants to write their manuscript. Then, right?
I survived the end of the world.
Yeah. All right, last one, and then we'll go to another topic that's probably more controversial than the eclipse. How about the folks that believed that the eclipse was going to activate your vaccine DNA for those that got the COVID vaccine? This is a real thing, Katie Lynn. I'm not lying. Y'all can look this up for yourself in the Google machine. There are folks out there. There are folks out there who believe that for those who got the COVID vaccine, that our random DNA that we got from the COVID vaccine was going to be activated during the totality of the eclipse. So this is a belief out there.
Yeah, with that 5G going on too, huh?
Yeah. So my wife and I like to we joke back and forth. I got the red panda DNA, and so I was hoping that this was real and I'd be turned into a red panda and I'd have a lot less responsibility. But it didn't happen. So I didn't end up with new shoes, and I didn't end up as a red panda.
Very disappointing 2024.
Yep. 2317, you said, Katie? Maybe we'll have better luck.
And if technology keeps being a thing, I mean, we might be around that one. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know if the world could handle me for 200 years. I'm going to keep it
Me
real.
neither.
I don't know.
I don't know if they can handle us.
All right, next up on the agenda, I wanted to talk about Willie Nelson and Orville Peck have released a song that has been out forever. Okay, the song has been out for 43 odd years. The song is called
it was 1981.
1981, right? And the song is called "Cowboys Are Frequently Secretly Fond of Each Other." This is an LGBTQIA country song, again written in 1981 by a guy by the name of Ned Sublette. And this song was written during the urban cowboy era, back in those days when LGBTQIA was not quite accepted then. It's a little more accepted now, thankfully. Hopefully we can get it more accepted tomorrow and more accepted the day after that. The song was also released by Willie Nelson in 2006 as part of the Brokeback Mountain stuff. If you guys remember that movie that came out with Heath Ledger, and I think it won an Oscar, perhaps. It was a fabulous, fabulous movie called Brokeback Mountain. And somehow Willie Nelson heard of a gentleman by the name of Orville Peck, who is a gay country singer. And Willie Nelson, being who he is, come up with the idea to do a duet with Orville Peck. And I love this. I absolutely love this. I
I do
have
too.
goosebumps on my arms right now. I mean, Orville Peck is he's an openly gay country artist, and obviously he is in a genre, in a world where being openly gay is probably not as marketable as not being openly gay. So
Absolutely.
for Willie Nelson to reach out for this is just amazing. What say you, Kadie?
That's exactly what I thought. I was reading about it and everything, like, what happened behind the scenes, and the fact that Willie asked him, just that's awesome. That's awesome. There's a lot of stigma around the community, especially with like with old country comes a lot of
Stigma.
stigma, yes, regarding that, and it's hard to do that without people in the like country community kind of losing it a little bit. But I mean, what are you gonna do? It's Willie Nelson.
Yep. So
Are you gonna
again,
be mad? There's no way you can be.
Orville Peck is quoted as saying that he sometimes felt excluded from the country music industry. This is a direct quote, due to his sexuality, and that is what made Willie Nelson's stamp of approval extra special to him, as you can.
Absolutely.
I mean, holy crap, right? So the question is to you, Katie Lynn, why are artists being excluded for who or what they are, rather than what they can do?
It's out of the norm. I mean, anything not normal is definitely anything to be like questioned. Like anything, like for example, me, I have a lot of piercings, tattoos, and stuff going on. I'd be a little bit, everyone wants like a family friendly kind of thing, but we want blonde hair, blue eyes, that kind of thing. That's what everyone wants. And when you're a little bit out of the normal, whatever way that may be, it makes people feel
that's
good.
A good point. That was another thing we were going to discuss later in the show, but since you brought it up now, we'll talk about it now. Why do you think that other people's freedom of expression, meaning you and me, I have purple hair, I have colored nails, you have facial jewelry, and some people would say a different haircut or a different look, right?
I got a mullet.
So my question is, why does my freedom of expression or your freedom of expression, why does that trigger other people so badly, do you think?
I really just think it's because people are scared of the unknown, and it's just now to the point where people are openly expressing themselves, like, and not caring. Like, because people have been expressing themselves, like, with their pops of color, like, whatever now, but people are, like, doing my kind of stuff. Like, I have the weirdest haircut you have probably, like, think about 50 years ago versus now. Like, how much has changed and how much, like, people are expressing themselves. Yep. So, and people, for some reason, I mean, it goes generation to generation, so it's like instilled in everybody, but as things are changing around them, for some reason, there's still a stigma, even though, it's 2024.
Well, I mean, if you think about it over the history of the world, especially in this country, somebody somewhere had to make something normal, right? So...
why is that normal?
It brings me to Rosa Parks. I'm no Rosa Parks, and I know Katie Lynn is never going to ever claim to be a Rosa Parks either. But before Rosa Parks, black people were not allowed to sit anywhere but the back of the bus. And so that was a thing before Rosa Parks and before the other folks like her that put their foot down on that. And women's rights to vote and black people's rights to vote. There were times before where that was not normal. Guys having long hair in the 50s or 40s and 50s back then, not normal. Somebody had to come along and make that part of everyday society before some of the traditional folks started seeing that as part of normal. So the question is it because of tradition? Or is it because of freedom envy that people might be a little bit upset with our expression?
I think it's that too, because growing up, I mean, growing up, teenager, right? You're trying to find yourself, and I always knew I was a bit weird. Like I was, all my friends always said I was weird, and I never really fit in. I tried so hard to fit in,
Mm-hmm.
like so hard, and it. I mean, I never got mad at people, but I would be like kind of judgmental here and there because
Mm-hmm.
I guess that is what it is. I mean, but as a teenager, that's one thing. But people like I guess because it's like it's what's instilled in them. It is a tradition. In people's minds, I feel like it's like a almost a moral thing.
Do you think they're? Do you think they are locked up, almost like a prisoner within their tradition?
Oh, absolutely. And within that tradition, that could be for multiple different reasons, whether that's, being raised maybe in a certain area of the world or like in a certain area of the United States,
Mm-hmm.
whether like southern or northern or.
For me, I look this way because I want folks to know that I'm a safe place.
Absolutely.
And so my freedom of expression is just it's a life raft to folks that are afraid to exist. And I
Hmm.
want those people to know that I'm okay. I'm safe. And if you need a life raft, I am that for those people. And
Absolutely.
so the way I look is just a simple representation of that. I am happily married. I have been a heterosexual my entire life. I don't expect that to change anytime soon, much to the happiness of my wife, who's right over there. And I'll keep it real. I have purple hair. I have nails, and my wife is the one that did all of this to me. And she loves it. So um, I feel like people, if they had the opportunity to express themselves in a more open fashion, um, they
It would
would.
be a
I think
happier
they would.
place.
And the fact of the matter is, I think every single person on this planet is weird in some fashion.
Oh yeah.
And and
Everybody's got their thing.
and weird is wonderful. And the people out there that are trying to suppress weird, I I
All
just
weird.
I just don't understand why people feel the need to do that for other people when nobody's infringing on their freedom of expression. So
And
why?
not only that, like a lot of times it restrict like hair, like your colored hair. I know for a job, I my hair was blue. I had to dye it dark just to be able to work there.
Right.
And piercings and everything, you have to completely conform. First, like, why is this the normal? Just because it has been forever. In tattoos have been around for so long. Piercings are, starting to become acceptable, but tattoos are for some reason still like
It's so weird. It's
it is
just
very weird.
so you. It's so funny. She cannot see my notes, guys. She can't, but she's feeding. It's like she can because she's feeding me. So I was just about to say that employment and religion are the two biggest detriments to open expression,
Yep.
at least in the U.S. Either you're employed by somebody who doesn't like it or doesn't want it, or your religion frowns upon doing
Yep.
certain things and looking certain ways. So my question is, if these things were less stringent by employers and by religion, if they were less stringent on what normal is, do you think more people would express themselves in the way you and I have?
Absolutely. Like I've always felt this way on the inside, but I'm only 20, so I've just now started like changing my look and everything as of, the past few years. But, everyone I have is like a normal friend and they've been here with me through like the changes and everything. And, they're like, I love your septum piercing. I would love to get it pierced. And it's just like, no, I don't want to do, you know what I mean? It's just, even like I see it all the time. Like people are like, I want that, but no. And usually it is because of like a religion thing, whether it's because of them or like a family. Um, that was a big thing for me. I mean, I know I have a lot of family members that have tattoos and stuff, but like the hair and the piercings and the gauges and all that kind of stuff. I mean, big change, and my family had a hard time getting used to it, and a lot of people around me had a hard time getting used to it. And some people were just like, never want to deal with you again. But that
But
doesn't change who you are.
Kadie's
And
still the same person. You're still the
yep.
same person. In fact, I personally feel that that is the definition of bravery, of courage, of just all of that, because we live in Texas, and Texas doesn't conform to open expression very often,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. And so I know I'm not going to speak for Kadie, but I'm sure she probably feels this way in some aspect. Anytime I go in public, I feel like an island. I absolutely feel like an
Oh
island.
yeah. And where I'm at, and I know where you're at too. Like, well, me, I'm a little closer to Dallas. So when you get up closer that way, it's cool. But I'm like in Waxahachie area, and that's still like a small town. Like it's a lot of people, but it's still small town. You have like a lot of money here
Yeah.
as well, and that being another big another big thing.
Well, just real quick, we have about 5 minutes till we have to refresh the Zoom. But real quick, I saw a post on Facebook recently. I'm not sure where the post was made from. I probably should have looked into it more, but I wasn't expecting to actually talk about it. But many of you, if you're on Facebook, you've probably seen the post that I'm about to refer to. Basically, it's a guy that works at Walmart, and he's got facial tattoos. And the Walmart that he works at, wherever that is, was doing a spotlight post on him for being an amazing employee. And so they made him employee of the month, and they took a picture of him in the produce department, and they put it on Facebook with this awesome blurb about what a great worker he is. And literally the entire comment section is about what kind of awful human being that this person is, because he has his wife's name tattooed above his left eyebrow.
Hey, and you remember, I don't remember how long ago this was. It was a few years ago, but there was this guy, and he was just like, everyone thought he was gorgeous, and it was a mugshot, and he had tattoos all over his face. You remember that?
Yep.
So that's hot, but
I mean,
whatever.
apparently, if you have tattoos above the neck, that makes you automatically a felon. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Uh, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh
I
yeah,
got
I have one too, but I have the beard, so sorry
it
about
covers,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, I have a Red Sox tattoo right here.
Yeah.
I know you've seen it. All right, so talking about normal, weird, all of those things. Let's get back to what we started with the Willie Nelson and Orville Peck thing, because number one, I want everybody to hear this song, especially this version. So I'm going to put this. Hopefully, I'll remember. Old brain, but hopefully I'll remember to put a link to the song in the description below, so you guys can hopefully check that out. And apparently, I was reading about it, and so Willie's wife is actually in the video,
Oh.
and the idea was put out there by Willie. I guess that the idea was that Willie and Orville were gonna actually get married in the video, and Willie's wife was going to be the minister that married them. And so I don't know why that didn't get put into the final production, but the fact that that's part of the story is pretty damn dope,
That's
if you ask
awesome.
me. I like that.
Yeah.
So here's the question, last question on the Willie Nelson stuff. Do you think that Willie Nelson might just be the most inclusive artist in all of music?
I think, man, who doesn't love him? If you don't love him, there's something wrong with you.
I mean, a global treasure.
Even if you don't like his music,
Mm-hmm.
just Willie Nelson as a person, you can't help but love
Yeah.
him.
I feel
He is
like
just an awesome
I
guy.
feel like so I'm a gamer, right? So like what gamers do is we put everything in different tiers, right? So like we have S tier guns, right? So the S tier guns are always better than the A tier guns, which are better than the B tier guns.
Yeah.
S tier people on this planet right now, I have Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton, and then the rest of us are just under there somewhere, right? I mean, how can you possibly say anything bad about Willie Nelson or Dolly Parton? I feel
You
like
can't.
I feel like if you try to, it's almost like a representation of you rather than them, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, even my favorite, I'm wearing him right now, Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, you can say he's a real bad influence, so there's that, but he's a great person too. But Dolly and Willie, you can't be mad at anything.
Thank you.
There's nothing to be mad at,
So that's a
or
big
that you can even be
that's a
mad at.
big topic. That's a controversial topic we talked about right there. Um, just so you guys know, if you do want to send us questions, if you are watching out there, there's several different ways that you can ask us questions. You can either comment on the actual video on the YouTube, comment, and we'll get to all of the questions that are there. Or you can email us at etxrocks@gmail.com, etxrocks@gmail.com, or you can comment on her stuff, comment on my stuff, wherever you see this shared. We will be notified of that, and one or the both of us will write down that question. We will answer all good questions, probably even some bad ones, live on air, so keep that in mind. Another thing that Kadie and I are hoping to do in the future with this show is perhaps do some live stuff on Twitch as well, which honestly would be as simple as me just
A lot of
pushing a
fun.
button right now. We could be live with the simple push of a button, but we have to make sure that people are going to watch before we do that. So, we've had a couple of controversial topics. Let's talk about the most controversial thing we're going to talk about tonight, and that is food.
My favorite.
Mine too. So we're going to talk about favorite restaurants, favorite foods, all of that stuff. Katie Lynn, Jackson comes to you and says you can only eat at one place tonight. Money is no object, and location is no object. Where is Katie Lynn going to eat?
Man, okay. So I wrote down a few places, and
No,
so
not a few places. You get
no,
to
I
pick
know
one place.
the one because it's the most expensive, and I could eat it for days on end. Like I could eat it forever, and I could order so much of it, so much of it. But oh my god, my dog. But anyway, it's called Cajun, okay, and it's off
Cajun?
35. Yeah, so it's Texas Cajun food,
Okay.
but oh my. Last time I was there, I got some crawfish gumbo. Everything they have is just like A1. A1. It's very expensive, of course, because crawfish and
Yeah.
shrimp and all that stuff. But, ooh, man, I could eat there forever.
Do you know what my problem is with crawfish? It's too much work.
I know that's why it's like in the gumbo and
So
everything.
no,
it's
no, no,
already,
no.
like,
You
a
don't
hard
understand. So I'm fat, right? Let me introduce myself.
I won't do it.
I am fat, and as a fat person, I don't want to work for my food.
I feel that. I will not do it because it makes me feel weird, for one. I just now got used to like ripping off the end of a shrimp. I'm very weird about things. Very, very weird about things. But either Jackson will do it for me, or I'll have to get it in like a pasta when it's like already like, or like in the gumbo.
Yeah,
it's
already done for you.
Yeah.
Like
I ain't about to
why
mess
am
with
I
that.
shucking peanuts and almonds when I can just buy a jar of mixed nuts and eat them?
For real. It's like pistachios. Like, why would you get them in the
Too
shell?
much work. I love pistachios, but no.
I know.
I mean, imagine. Okay, so I'm a pizza aficionado. Imagine if I had to bake my own pizza first before I ate it. No, absolutely not.
I don't know. So Jackson, he cooks so much. He's the biggest chef. Even though I love these restaurants, he could make me anything I ever wanted.
Nice.
And I don't know how he does it. He'll just be making like something so good, and I'm like, how do you not just sit here and eat all this while you're cooking?
Right.
How do you not do that?
It's called fear.
Like,
Fear.
and
That's
I'm
why
like
he doesn't
over
do
here
it.
lurking in the kitchen, like what you got going on in here.
So yeah. So I know. So my go-to place is in a town called Brockton, Massachusetts, which is where I am originally from, and it's on the corner of Center and Carey Street. I think maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm sure maybe some of my Brockton folks will be like, "No, sir." But anyway,
No, stupid.
it's called Supreme House of Pizza.
That sounds awesome.
And if you haven't had Massachusetts pizza,
Have not.
you have to make sure you do that before you're put in a box. Just trust
Deal.
me. My mouth is watering right now thinking about Supreme House of
I'm
Pizza.
thinking about it, and I can't even really fathom. So just the
So,
thought.
sadly, 2012 was the last time I had a Supreme House of Pizza.
That's
Yeah.
awful.
So it's been 12 years since I had a pizza, like a good pizza. I live in Texas. They don't have that here.
Maybe if this podcast blows up, we can go and do.
We'll go and we'll say, hey, you were on the first episode. You should give me a free sandwich. Because the sandwiches are the best part. So those folks, they're Greek. The people that own it, they're Greek. And the old man that used to own it when I was a wee lad, back in the 80s when I lived there, he would we would go in there after school and he would have a little sandwich made for all the kids. When we would, because the junior high and the schools were literally like, here's the schools and here's my house, and then the restaurant was in between the two. So we would go in there whenever our parents were at work, and we would just sit in there and do our homework and stuff like that. And the owner would have literal sandwiches. He would have lunch made for us when we got out of school, free of charge.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's an amazing
Take
individual.
me there.
So he passed away in like 2018, and it was pretty sad. You know, even for me.
That's depressing.
Yeah, thousands of miles away. So, what's your go-to comfort food?
Oh man, anything with gravy.
Yeah.
Gravy, man. I get down with some gravy.
Does it matter what kind of gravy? Like brown gravy, white gravy, don't matter?
I love brown gravy, but man, you know white gravy though. Like on a chicken fry. I love
Chicken fried chicken?
Chicken fried chicken, you know what it's about.
Golly.
And then mashed potatoes, and then biscuits and gravy, rolls and gravy. You can't go wrong.
No.
And then like mac and cheese.
So you want to hear something funny about gravy? I did not eat gravy when I was a kid.
That's the only thing I did eat.
I didn't like gravy. Love it
like
now.
ketchup.
I have seen the light. Don't worry. Don't send me nasty emails. I have seen the light.
See, and I hate ketchup, so
Really?
always have. Yeah, never liked it.
The power of gravy is a very real thing.
It is.
Yes.
People don't get it, and like everyone, their gravy is different. You can have just the worst gravy of your life, or you can
And
have
restaurants
the best
are
gravy.
either made or not made by what their gravy tastes like. Like, if your
Whataburger?
sauce is bad, forget you.
Whataburger is really shoddy though, because sometimes they just have it like real thick and it's just so good. And then half the time you go there and it's just water.
Oh my God, Katie Lynn just turned food into controversy. She just made big bad words about Whataburger. Send the emails to her.
When it's good, it is banging. But man, sometimes the one in Kaufman, I'm atting you. The one in Kaufman
atting
is
you.
ruining the whole
Get
chain.
your damn gravy game on point.
For real, I would go there and I'm a big gravy gal. I'd get French fries and gravy for breakfast. So, and I go in there, you dip the French fries in there, and you just see it all drip off, and it's like.
Yep. So my comfort food growing up, and I actually saw an article about this last night on Facebook. I don't know why Facebook has got like a direct synapse right to my thought process, but I saw an article on my Facebook literally last night talking about the origins of the tradition of New Englanders eating pork and beans on Saturday nights. This is a real thing.
Okay. Yep.
This is a real thing. I didn't know, but apparently the reason why I was fed so much frankfurters and rice and beans when I was a kid was because it was a Saturday night tradition. And I was reading about that, and I'm like, oh, okay, makes sense now. But that's my comfort food. If you take either any kind of smoked sausage or frankfurter or whatever and cut them some bitches up real nice and fry them in some butter and lay them down in some beans and rice, oh, my God.
See, and my problem, all that sounds great, but I don't like beans. So
my kids absolutely hate hot dogs.
See, and I'm okay with hot dogs.
Because as a single parent, that's what they got to eat when I was younger. Like when they were younger,
Yeah.
I got to work 8 hours tonight. Y'all are getting easy again. My bad. So like I have a daughter that
You want hot dogs, ramen, or pizza rolls, or Domino's?
exactly right. Either you're eating hot dogs or you learn how to make it yourself. So
yep.
All my kids know how to make food because they hated hot dogs. So there's that. So how much, like your favorite places to eat? How much was that choice, like, built by your upbringing? Because like I think our likes and dislikes have a lot to do with how we're raised, right?
So I got a funny story, and I'm about to at my mom. So,
okay.
You're gonna get a kick out of this. So I don't know what it is, and Mom, I love you so much, but you're so crazy. She did not let me have condiments as a kid. She thought they were
Wait a minute.
addicting.
Time out. I just want to make sure I heard correctly. You said condiments, right?
Yeah, not
okay.
condoms.
All right.
Yeah, condiments. Darn. No.
All right, go ahead.
But yeah, I wasn't allowed to have any condiments, which is probably why I don't like ketchup. I was never allowed to have
Makes
it.
sense.
I don't like A1 sauce. My nieces and nephews were nuts about it, and my mom just hated it so bad, so I wasn't allowed to have that. I was allowed to have mustard on a corny dog or hot dog, so I like mustard. And then gravy. I was allowed to have gravy. So that's why I think it's just I put gravy on everything.
So you're an adult now. So why were you saved from the big bad world of condiments, do you think?
I'm scared. Like, it was unknown, and I'm such a picky eater because, like, I'm I like gravy, okay? What goes with gravy? Not that many things, okay? That's what I eat. Like, I eat pretty bland things. Jackson's just now started spicing things up. I started trying hot sauces and stuff.
I can't do them.
I can. I can't. Don't get.
I just don't like anything.
Ones that can, I can't, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, my wife and my son make fun of me all the time because, like, anything with kick, like, it's not even like kick for them. It's just like, but for me, I'm just like, golly, man. And they're over there just shoveling it down their face, and I'm just like, no, what are you doing?
That's my mom. It's bad. I used to be just as bad as her, and Jackson's just like got me eating everything.
So as I've gotten older, my taste buds have allowed me to eat more things as well. But I feel like a lot of my likes and dislikes were shaped by what my mom didn't like, and my mom didn't like a whole lot as far as food goes. So like I don't like fish. I don't like mashed potatoes is a texture thing for me. It's not really a taste thing. But like gravy, I wouldn't eat gravy. What else? Shrimp. I would not touch shrimp until I was older. God, there was like so many years of good food I wasted. You know what I mean?
I know. I feel like that. I don't know what it is with me. It's just I just ate bland food. Like I was about like white foods.
Yeah.
Potatoes, bread.
Yep.
All the starches.
Yep.
I liked some corn. I didn't even eat broccoli. Okay. I just like the most bland food you can think of. Kadie was about it. Anything cheese. Anything cheese. you know
as long as you could put gravy on it, we're okay.
So if it was anything out of the normal, like fish, like...
No,
I didn't even eat a burger until I was like 16.
Yeah, I've tried to get into the whole fish thing because it's supposed to be better for your health now that I'm old.
Oh, and see, I'm so into it now.
I can't. I've tried and tried. If I could like change my viewpoint on fish to where I could like them, I probably wouldn't be as fat as I am, and I'd probably live longer. But I can't make it happen. So
see, and texture is a big weird thing for me too. So like a homemade burger I can do because like usually they're like thick and stuff, but like just the texture of like ground beef makes me feel weird.
I feel that too if a burger is too thick. Yeah, I can feel that. I've been there.
It's just like, and I don't want to think about it being an animal. So I can eat steak, but I gotta cut it and just.
So I gotcha. All right, last question on the food, and this I was not expecting a condiment allergy on here. So This question is going to come out pretty funny now that we know that she wasn't allowed to have condiments. So are you able to step outside your comfort zone now with more intriguing condiment options?
I think I can find a better fit.
So I got a great catch-up story. I'm not going to name the ex, but I had an ex. The only way she would eat ketchup is she would take the French fry. I'm not even kidding. I wish I could get through this without laughing, but she would take the French fry and she would place the French fry in her mouth, right? And the French fry would just chill there for a minute, okay? Just stay there for a minute. The ketchup is coming, right? Then she would take the ketchup packet and she would like slurp a little ketchup from the packet. And now like she's got a French fry with ketchup on it in her mouth.
Like a straight up drug.
That's how she would eat her French fries. I'm not kidding. That's real. Might
as well start snorting it. What the
That was the first time I saw her do that. I was like, what the hell are you doing?
One time I thought I was down for gravy, but one of my friends, we were young and we got Whataburger, I think, and I look over and she had gravy left and she was just drinking it. I can't do that.
But I think the name of this episode is going to be Down for Gravy. There we go. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to get back to a more interesting topic other than food. Food is important, but is it more important than Morgan Wallen?
Yes.
Okay. I agree with you. Definitely is. So Morgan Wallen, as you folks out there may know, who is a 30-year-old country artist. So you have to do that with the air quotes, I've been told.
Yep.
Morgan Wallen was charged with 3 felony counts.
And a misdemeanor.
When he threw a folding chair from a 6th-floor rooftop bar in downtown Nashville. The chair fell 6 stories, endangering the lives of pedestrians walking along and almost hit 2 Metro Nashville police officers. He was arrested on the spot for reckless endangerment and disorderly conduct.
Yeah.
So apparently Morgan Wallen is pretty infamous for this kind of behavior in downtown Nashville, and he has gained the moniker King of Broadway locally. And Jason Steen from ScoopNashville.com says he acts like nothing can happen to him. No matter what happens to him, he's going to come out fine.
Yep.
First question for you, Katie Lynn. Does the bad boy image help or hurt Morgan Wallen?
I think this was a step too far. Everyone can say that. I think before, I have a lot of friends that are like losing their shit about it, but I mean, I don't think so. I think this bad move. Good job. Great job. Now, I mean, the people that were in love with him already, it's going to be a point to them, but for everyone else that has a brain, it's stupid. Like, how stupid can you be? And that could have killed somebody.
Well, what gets me about the whole thing is the first thing I added, 30 years old. Morgan, I think it's probably time you grew up, my dude.
Yep.
I think he's got kids now, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong out there, guys. It happened once before in 2011. That's the last time I was wrong, by the way. No, I've been wrong since then. But that's the thing. You're 30 years old now. Maybe stay home a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Nashville, like, and that was Eric Church's new bar, right?
It was. Yes.
Yeah, and that doesn't reflect good either.
It doesn't reflect on Eric Church one bit. No.
So I wonder what might be happening behind the scenes with that.
That would be an interesting conversation, just to hear Eric Church and Morgan Wallen getting into it. Like, I mean, I know the best way, as a wrestling fan, I know the best way to settle this.
As a boxing fan.
Okay, so we don't use folding chairs in boxing, Kadie Lynn.
No, I know. I just want more serious. I want to see him go at it.
I mean, would you watch an Eric Church, Morgan Wallen table chairs and ladders match live at WrestleMania? Because I dang sure would.
I would too. I would.
And like the winner could get the auto tune machine, right? Like, or whatever it is they use nowadays. So will anything come of this?
Probably not. I was looking and it said that I think it said he was convicted, but did you see how much his bond was? It wasn't even $16,000.
Yeah,
and it was 3 felonies of reckless endangerment.
Imagine if you or I were hit with 3 felonies.
At minimum 50.
I mean, we're not leaving, right? We're there. Like
yeah.
I don't know. It's who you are, not what you do, I guess, nowadays.
Yep, absolutely. Right? I feel like it, unfortunately, I feel like it always has been.
So do you think this is like, you know what? I feel like I want an outlaw image. So I'm going to try to get my inner Wallen on. Is that like, I'm going to throw a chair, right?
No, Wallen,
No.
Listen here. Wallen was the OG.
Right.
And he didn't have to act like nobody.
He ain't throwing no chair from a bar top.
No. No, he didn't have to prove nothing to nobody.
You can bet your butt he's going to hit what he's aiming with that chair. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, I mean, really, all this boils down to is how bad of an aim Morgan Wallen has. Right? That's what it boils down to.
Yep.
All right, so we're into the music situation now, so let's talk a little bit about music. I've got Kadie Lynn with me here on the Chris and Kadie Show. And for those of you who are fans of Kadie Lynn is just an incomparable singer-songwriter, one of my favorites. And just to be here on the show with her and building content with her is going to be, honestly, a really cool honor for me. So thank you for that, Kadie Lynn. But
you as well.
But I wanted to talk about multiple avenues to becoming a successful artist. As both of us being in the music business in some form or fashion, we've both seen, and some of us, namely you, have done different things to become successful in the industry. There are lots of different ways of becoming seen and heard in the 21st century. And I feel like a lot of people out there think that certain avenues are more legitimate than others. And for me, just the notion of that is utterly ridiculous to me.
You know what I think is really funny? In a personal opinion, if, say, I was to have that mindset, if you're going with a record label, you're an idiot.
I completely agree with you, 100%.
Sorry. If you're not, okay, the best thing you can do is to just do your stuff, DIY. It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize it. And you can get a $25 mic.
Mm-hmm.
You can get just cheap stuff to start out with and just start making stuff.
And look at us. We have no bells and whistles here. This is the start of the journey.
For real.
And the hope is if we're 50 episodes down the road, it's not going to look like this anymore. That's just the way it is. We're going to build. We're going to get better. But for me, in the music industry, if I hear your music, that's what it's about. I got to hear your music. It doesn't matter the reasons why I got to hear your music. For me, as a consumer, it doesn't matter. Because I got to hear your music.
Absolutely.
So your story as to, or your struggle or your lack of struggle to get to my ears doesn't matter to me as a consumer.
Right.
Because I got to hear it. Okay? That's just the way it is. If you have become a successful artist to the point where I got to hear your music as a consumer, or anybody else on the planet who got to hear your music as a consumer, that's success. That's somebody that you would not have reached otherwise. Whatever it was that your story is that got you from your couch to my ears doesn't matter to me as a consumer because it got to my ears. So what I don't understand is all of these people who seem to think that it matters what the journey was between their couch and my ears. Why does that journey matter to people?
It's jealousy, and I mean, unfortunately, that's just it is what it is.
I mean, that's the ding, 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 right? That's the answer.
And as a person that there's a lot of empathy for people, but I get it. I mean, it's imagine doing this for so long, and then you look at a young kid. It is disheartening.
Well,
but
watch this. Katie Lynn, you are 20 years old.
Yeah.
What age do you feel you were a professional musician? What I mean by professional now is not good at being a musician. A professional musician is somebody who is paid to be a musician. So the question is,
Okay.
What age were you when you were first compensated for being a musician?
And we're talking about like paid. We're not talking tips, nothing like that, right? We're talking like
paid by a venue, yes.
Man, I don't know.
So I met you at 12, and you were a professional musician at 12. So that's 8 years.
I was about to say, at the most would be 12. Maybe 11. I'm not sure.
So dang near half your life. So bunch of questions I'm coming at you fast with, okay? So you've done the Opry circuit, right? You've done the festival circuit, right? Festival circuits. You've done the dive circuit.
Yep.
Right? So you've done the restaurants, right? Like the side of a restaurant, just background noise, right? You've done all of those.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question is, you also did America's Got Talent. But all of the things that I just named, festivals, dives, Opries, restaurants, all came before America's Got Talent, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you did all of that before your success. I put that in air quotes again because a lot of people would look at you and say, well, she was successful because of America's Got Talent. And I'm trying to dispel that notion because it's hogwash. It's what the adults call bullshit, right? You were a successful musician prior to America's Got Talent. That's where I'm getting with this. Because you were good, you were talented as a young kid, 9, 8, 10, 11. You're doing Opries, you're doing festivals, you're doing all of those things. That's called paying your dues. And just because you struggled then doesn't mean that your America's Got Talent stuff was better or worse than that.
Mm-hmm.
My point is any music you put out now as Katie Lynn, whatever that is, if it reaches my ear, it doesn't matter what your journey was to me as a consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as somebody who loves music and is interested in
the backstory,
then yeah, that's a different thing. But that is not a normal reaction to music. A normal reaction is not, well, I wonder how many bicuspids she has, right? Like, so as somebody who has done both, you've done reality shows, you've had your app discovery stuff where, you have a pretty big following on social media. You've done the festival circuit, the Opry circuit, all of that. Is that not just part of your fiber as a musician now, all of that?
Absolutely. And I feel in my short lifetime, have had many different experiences and many seasons in my, with many different little episodes that I had, my before America's Got Talent, the America's Got Talent thing, and everything that went around that in a short amount of time. And then since I've really started coming into the music I really want to do and like writing my own songs and performing them and having my band and everything, that's the season I'm in right now, which is so much fun.
And it's a season that you and I talked about when you were 12.
Yep. Absolutely.
So like Katie Lynn and Boston Chris both knew what kind of artist she wanted to be at 11 and 12 years old. The rest of the world didn't know that, but they're finding out now, which is great. And so I feel like a big thing nowadays, and we have about 7 minutes left, is because of the advent of short form media. What I mean by that is TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And all of its imposters, right? So you got reels and you've got shorts, but the fact of the matter is it's what's called short form content when you have 60 seconds to try to get noticed, right? And this has been done for millennia with books, right? Within the first 60 seconds of reading a book or watching a TV show or watching a movie, you have to hook your audience, right? Same thing in a song. You have to hook your audience. You want people to be hooked to come in and listen to more. That's what short form content does in today's day and age. But because of the short form content, artists are starting to adapt in such a way that they know that sensationalism rather than hook is what's going to draw people to their content.
Absolutely.
You've got people like Maren Morris, who's done it from the liberal side. You've got people like Oliver Anthony that's done it from the conservative side. This is a thing that's done on all sides of the political aisle. I only put that out there not to make this about politics, but to try to dispel those comments from coming into our realm on this podcast. The point I'm making is both sides do it. It's about sensationalism. It's about trying to get people onto your content, not because of what it is, but because of what it does. And there's a big difference between those things. As an artist, you should be trying to make people feel something, in my opinion, and I'm not an artist, so my opinion is not worth a whole hell of a lot here.
Yes, it is.
But I feel like as a consumer of arts, I feel like it is more important to make me feel something rather than to make me think something. Because
Absolutely.
if I'm listening to your music or I am consuming your art and you are making me think instead of feel, you're doing it wrong. What say you?
I don't want to play something that I don't feel or that doesn't make me feel something. Period. If it makes you think and you're singing it, that takes the fun out of everything. And I know that it does the same thing for the consumer. It's not the same. And I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people don't feel our way, and most people don't really care. But it is a big difference. Big difference.
And as a consumer of music, it's not that difficult to feel, or it's not that difficult to realize which thing the artist is trying to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, there's always been the formulas in music, whether that be with melodies, chords, anything, any little thing. There's always, like the 1, 4, 5, G, D, C, there's music is math, period. Always has been. And you can easily make it, if you have these little formulas, you can make a hit song. That's what most of the hit songs are, because it's catchy, it gets stuck in your head, and that's just what it is. And usually that's what people listen to.
And you talked about being signed earlier. We got 3 minutes. I'm going to try to make this go quickly. You talked about being signed earlier. Being signed means that they're going to make people think.
Absolutely.
Because when people are thinking, that means it's controversy. And when they think something, they share that something. And all that does is lead to division. And that's what big labels are trying to do nowadays, is they're trying to market with an us versus them mentality. And I hope to God it starts failing soon, because as long as we're consuming that crap, then it's going to exist. And as long as we are consuming that crap, then the non-crap is not going to bubble to the surface like it should be doing. And then we're not going to hear something that would make us feel something. And that's just my opinion.
I absolutely agree.
So I would say DIY, make it happen.
It's the way to go.
And if you have a room of 4 people, then those 4 people should be the most important 4 people on the planet to you. If you have social media with 9 followers and you go live on that social media and 2 of those people watch you, those 2 people could do absolutely anything else in the world other than watch you. And you should take that to heart, because that means you have reached 2 people. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's really hard to get to 5 people before getting to 2 people.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
keep that in mind. We'll talk definitely more in depth in the future about how to use social media with music and with podcasting and with other things. That'll be a lot of fun. Kadie, do you have anything else? A final thought from our first episode?
I think we have covered a lot of good things, and in a well-rounded manner with every topic we've been on. I'm really excited for the future.
Me too.
Episode 1 down.
Yep, same. This is exciting for both of us, just because I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's a big fan of mine, and
oh, absolutely,
we're like family. We've been like family for almost 10 years now, it seems. We've hosted award shows. We've sat under oak trees. We've done all of the things that you could do. And honestly, you're like family to me. I'm excited to go on this venture with you. And
I am too. This is going to be so much fun. It already is.
And guys, we're going to have a theme song someday, and we're going to have graphics, and we're going to have all the cool things. Again, if you want to ask questions, etxrocks at gmail.com. Or just comment on anything that you see this episode being shared at, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, wherever you see it, comment. We'll write the questions down. If we get enough questions, we will do a second episode where it will just be ask questions. And so we could have 2 different things going on at the same time. So thanks for watching. Make sure you love the video, like it, comment, subscribe for free. We'll catch you on the next one.